Once a striking country estate in Oakville on the north shore of Lake Ontario, the lavish grounds boasted polo fields, lush gardens, and a mansion. In the early 50s, it became a retreat, a place of learning for seminarians and priests. Now Glen Abbey is home to the fourth oldest golf tournament in the world, reputed to be haunted by the ghost of a friendly monk. 4 lakes, gentle rolling fairways, steep canyon walls, and that menacing 16-mile creek. The breeze is down, so too the temperature from the first 3 days. A perfect day, sunny skies, and record crowds have thronged out here all week long. Why not? A tremendous leaderboard after the 3rd round. Mark McCumber, a 5 under 67 yesterday, nursing a 1-shot lead over Nick Price, certainly the player of the year. Tom Lehman within striking distance, and Steve Stricker, who tied for 4th here a year ago, only 2 shots back. At the very first hole, Nick Price, 9 under when this day dawned. This, though, his putt for par. Now watch his reaction after he hits the ball. Nick doesn't think it has a chance. He starts to walk, but wait a minute. And even Nick Price is a bit bemused. When things are going right, they are really going right. So he stays at 9 under par, only 1 shot behind his playing partner and the leader, Mark McCumber. Price then, out at number 5, had an eagle opportunity to take the lead. Nick, who won earlier at the Honda, the British Open, of course, the PGA Championship, 2 other tour titles this year, 5 victories in all, tapped in for his birdie to go to 10 under and tie McCumber. Then Mark, a birdie putt at 7 to go to 11 under par. Price had birdied at the 6th to temporarily take the lead, but watch this curler for the man that won at the Anheuser-Busch Golf Classic earlier this year, McCumber. 11 under par. Thank you very much. He's tied for the top spot at 11 under, but McCumber bogeyed 9. He bogeyed 10. Nick Price also bogeyed the 10th hole. So Nick now nursing a 1-shot lead over Calcavecchia, Lehman, and McCumber. Brian Cam having great final round, and O'Meara trailing by only 2, along with South African Fulton Allen. Bob Estes at 7 under par, and Payne Stewart playing the par 5 18th. Steve Stricker can't get off the bogey train right now. Has had a disastrous version around his own version of Amen Corner. So as we welcome you to our live 2-hour finale, hi again, everybody, and welcome back to Glen Abbey. Gary Koch, of course, is alongside. Let's talk about Nick Price right now, trying to become just the 3rd player in the history of golf to win the British Open and the Canadian Open in the same year. Lee Trevino did it back in '71, and of course Tom Weiskopf in '73. Hey, when things are going right, you saw it on the first hole the other day. Hit a ball that was headed into 16-Mile Creek, boing off a rock up on the green. He made his par.
Well, Jim, there's an old saying out here on the PGA Tour, you'd rather be lucky than good, but it really helps if you're both. And of course, Nick Price is. You know, yesterday it was a little strange. We saw Nick struggle a little bit. He pushed a number of shots to the right, made 4 bogeys, very uncharacteristic of the way he's been playing lately. But boy, he's come back today just rock solid. He'll be tough.
And Mark McCumber, a golf course architect. He's designed over 40 worldwide, including one in Edmonton, Canada. Has designs on winning this, adding his 2nd crown for this year. Any danger that they get caught up in playing head-to-head?
Well, there certainly is, Jim. They're out there in the last group. They're playing together. But they've got to be careful now, because there are some other guys who certainly can get through those valley holes and post a score and pose a real problem for them. 2 guys to keep in mind, Tom Lehman, Mark Calcavecchia. They have both played the back 9 better than Price or McCumber.
Golf course changes dramatically when you get to the valley holes there at Glen Abbey. Andy North, of course, is following our day's last twosome. Price and McCumber paired together, but they both bogeyed at number 10. So it's Price at -10. And at 9 under par, McCumber, Lehman, and Mark Calcavecchia. Andy will be with that last group. Not a cloud in the sky. About a half hour outside of downtown Toronto. And boy, do they have some folks here today.
Largest crowds that I've ever seen, Jim, for the Canadian Open, and I must say, probably the 4 nicest days in a row I've ever seen for the tournament.
Calcavecchia 2 under today, and right now only 1 off the lead. 2nd shot at 13. His cut is 15 feet in from that right-hand edge.
And this is huge, Jim. He's going for this green in 2, and it is bordered on the right by 16-Mile Creek. Oh, that's very close to the creek, and if it is in, that's almost a certain bogey.
On the tee at the par 3 12th, today 202 yards, Tom Lehman.
Yeah, I do.
Well, Jim, in this par 3, a very, very difficult hole. In fact, the third most difficult hole here at Glen Abbey. And the reason why, not so much the length, but the green, there's no depth to it at all. It's very wide, but very shallow. Most of the players hitting 4-irons today. Pin a little bit more accessible than it has been earlier in the week. It is in the back left portion of the green, so if you can just carry the bunker you see in the middle of your screen there, the ball should funnel right back to it.
12 has been the third hardest hole here at Glen Abbey all week. 25 birdies, but 93 bogeys and 9 double bogeys.
Oh, coming up short. Finding the bunker.
Brian Cam 3 under today. Double bogeyed out at 13.
Jim, we will see some scores going up and down on this back 9. There's no question. Remember the other day, Phil Mickelson played the last 6 holes, didn't make a par. Birdies, eagles, bogeys, double bogeys. We'll see it all.
On the flip side, Nick Price, who you're watching right there, played the last 3 holes in 4 under par. As we welcome back our 2-time U.S. Open champion, Andy North.
Thank you, Jim. Nick has 126 yards. This hole's playing a little bit downwind right now. The pin is right on the back of the green. You've got to be very, very careful not to hit this ball too long. Just a nice, solid pitching wedge for Nick. Like to land it 10, 15 feet short of the hole and have it take a little hop. Looks like it's about the right distance. Nicely done. Very makeable putt for birdie.
And just before, this was Mark McCumber.
And this was Mark. He had 139 yards. He's playing just a nice solid 9-iron. Again, you do not want to be long.
Mark McCumber, the winner of the 1988 Players Championship at Sawgrass, looking for his 9th tour title. He won the Anheuser-Busch by 3 over Glen Day, but right now he and 2 others trailing Nick Price by a single shot. Today's final round live coverage of the Bell Canadian Open is being brought to you by Bridgestone Sports and Precept EV Extra Spin, the 2-piece ball played by Nick Price and Ray Floyd. By GMC Truck, the strength of experience. And by King Cobra, oversized irons and woods, designed for men, women, and seniors.
The business was started in the winter. We kept all the windows open because flowers were a priority. So we froze. But it was the mission that we were on. It was the mission of growing a business. It's all worked out well. The American Express corporate card is used here almost on a daily basis, keeps all of our expenses in line, and helps us to manage our money better.
The American Express corporate card helps lots of businesses to blossom.
The whole range of things that can go wrong in golf. Slices, hooks, curves.
The club would hit the ground and wouldn't even hit the ball.
I used to hit the ball with a horrendous slice.
I needed some help, and Golf Digest gave me the help that I needed.
Golf Digest and the 8 Ways to a Better Golf Game video will help you improve your golf game. If it doesn't, cancel the subscription and keep the video free.
Reading Golf Digest helped me get rid of my fade.
I can drive the ball greater distances.
Golf Digest took me from a 15 handicap to a 6 handicap.
Golfers everywhere have actually improved their game by reading Golf Digest and watching the video. They know a subscription to Golf Digest is a must for anyone who wants to be a better golfer.
It really helped me to understand the techniques and the skills of the game.
I think it has articles that will help everybody.
So call 800-247-5600. If your game doesn't improve, we'll send you the video and a year subscription for free. We guarantee it.
There is no way you cannot improve your golf game.
The only thing you lose out of this deal is a few strokes.
Gary Koch and Andy North are here, and we're certainly glad you're here for ESPN's live final round coverage of the Bell Canadian Open. There's the leaderboard. Bunkered, Calcavecchia.
Well, a huge break, Jim. We thought his ball might have caught the water, but instead it did make it into that front bunker. Good bunker shot. He'll have a 6-footer left. Downhill, chance for birdie.
This golf course, designed by Jack Nicklaus, opened up in 1975. It's been the home of the Canadian Open since '77. Now we're watching Price. Andy?
Nick's ball is just in the short fringe. He's got a little bit of mud on it, which might affect it. The putt should go from left to right normally, but I believe this one should go even a little bit left off this fringe. Tough putt to read.
Sure, yeah, you got it.
I was not very happy not knocking that one in, but the 11th hole is a very nice hole to make 4 on and just get to 12.
Andy, yesterday with the 8 birdies and the 4 bogeys and the 6 pars, it was actually the putter that saved his round, wasn't it?
Well, Nick has putted exceptionally well for a long time, and he was very pleased. He knocked in some 20-footers.
Calcavecchia to get it to 10 under and tie for the lead.
Well, watch out for this man. He did not putt well in Friday's 2nd round nor Saturday's 3rd round. Gets the putter rolling. He'll be tough.
Final round scoring average. Mickelson, who won at La Costa earlier this year. Look at Nick Price. Lehman bunkered back at 12.
Yeah, that ball came out a little faster than Tom Lehman wanted, and that'll leave a long par putt.
McCumber at 11.
Right.
Man, couldn't believe it.
Hit it right where I wanted. Looks like
Told his caddy he hit it exactly where he wanted to. So Mark, after bogeys at 9 and 10, makes his par at 11 to stay at 9 under. Calcavecchia with that birdie putt into a tie for the top spot with Nick Price. Lehman in trouble. Mark O'Meara, he was your first round co-leader along with Dick Mast, 6 under par, 66s. Well, we talk about the valley holes here where the tournaments have been turned for better or worse, where dreams have been broken and nightmares initiated. It's a very difficult 5-hole stretch. Here's Andy to explain.
Thank you, Jim. We've talked all week about the difficulty of the valley holes at Glen Abbey. What makes it so difficult is the 16-mile creek that runs through this valley. Actually, thousands of years ago, this creek probably created this valley. The players have to cross the creek 4 separate times at 11, 12, 13, and 14. The 2 most critical shots, if a player's trying to knock his ball on the green at 13 and 2, the second shot is unbelievably difficult. We've seen more balls in the creek than on the green in 2. Actually, as an example, Nick Price has gone for the green both the last 2 days, hit his ball in the creek, and made 2 6s. What I believe is the most difficult shot is the tee shot at 14. The creek runs off the entire length of the hole. The players have to cross this creek at an awkward angle. Because of the water on the right, you're going to see players bailing left. There's a large bunker on the left that's going to catch a lot of drives and cause some problems. The player that can tiptoe his way through the valley without getting his ball wet, he's got a great opportunity to win this week.
Thank you, Andy. Watching Tom Lehman now, his par putt at 12 to stay 1 off the lead.
Downhill and moving slightly from Tom's left to right.
in the hole.
Beautiful putt. 3 is a great score at 12.
Up at 18, Payne Stewart. Started out the day at 4 under par. This is to finish with a round of 68.
Should move a little to the right. Oh, good try, but boy, what a good tournament for Payne.
Co-leader Calcavecchia on the tee at 14. Andy North just talked about.
Well, difficult driving hole, but it sets up perfectly for Mark Calcavecchia's left to right shot, and he has split the middle.
Next, Fulton Allen. He'll be playing in the President's Cup next week.
Fulton, a very straight driver of the ball, so we would expect this one to be in the fairway. Nicely done.
Payne Stewart, by the way, tapped in for his par. He's in at 7 under par, round of 69. On the tee at 12, Price.
Nick playing a 4-iron. The hole's playing 202 yards. He's hit a very nice looking shot right in the middle of the green. Real smart play. Gary, what makes 12 play so difficult is you can't feel any wind at all from the tee, but yet you know it's got to be blowing some way, but you don't have any idea what direction it might be blowing.
Well, I think now that they've also started using this upper tee, which is really cut into the trees and right along the side of that valley, that problem has even increased.
Both players were unhappy walking off that last hole without making those putts, but still, you know, a good solid par at 11 is a good way to start these valley holes. Mark should be hitting a 4-iron also. The flag's not stirring at all. Mark's got a pretty good chance to get it close here. He can start off the left edge of the green and cut it back into the pin and not have to worry about that back center bunker. Sounded a little bit heavy. I think it's got to get going.
It did get going. Great shot. Pin high. One of the best of the day.
Speaking of day, Glen Day with a triple bogey at 11 started out the day only 3 off the lead. Now he's at -4 and he trails by 6. The Canadian Open has been held here at the Jack Nicklaus designed Glen Abbey Golf Club every year but once since 1977 when it was played at the Royal Montreal Golf Club, which hosted the first Canadian Open back in 1904. Before that, the tournament rotated courses much the same way the United States Open does. This tournament, one of the oldest that the PGA Tour played, the oldest, of course, being the British Open. The Western Open, the oldest non-major played each year.
Don't wait for the snow to fall to buy new ski equipment. Come to Cross County Ski and Skate and Ski Wyndham's Giant Tent Sale, September 16th through 18th, and be prepared to hit the slopes early. Cross County Ski and Skate is Westchester's only specialty ski shop, where our only concern is getting our customers down the slopes with the right skis and look to fit your style. Our experienced staff is here to help all skiers, from experts to beginners. Don't miss your chance to get great prices and a chance to receive free lift tickets from Cross County Ski and Skate and Ski Wyndham's 3-day Giant Tent Sale.
We need office furniture.
We're just starting out. We can't afford expensive office furniture.
Come to Stanford Wrecking's Office Furniture Outlet. We've just received over 4,000 office chairs selling at a fraction of their original cost. These are manufacturer's closeouts, new and like new furniture in excellent condition at low, low prices. With immediate delivery and setup, you get right down to business.
Thanks to Stanford Wrecking's Office Furniture Outlet. Minutes off of Exit 6, I-95, Stanford.
I'm always looking to improve, so I'm always watching for somebody who does something better than I do. That's what I try to pick up on. When I watch tennis, I look for a person's weakness and a person's strength, and understand why their strengths are their strengths. To look at Pete's running forehand, for example, Courier's run around forehand, Michael Chang's footwork. To really look at that and pick it apart and, in a sense, try to imitate it. I think that can really help somebody's game.
How they're playing today. Calc is 3 under and tied for the lead. Brian Cam is also 3 under, 2 off the pace. And the day's best round so far, our first round co-leader of Thursday, Dick Mast, with a 5 under 67. He's in at -5. Lehman, after nice job saving par at 12, on the tee at 13 a moment ago at 9 under.
Well, Jim, he has the length to reach this 13th hole in 2 if he hits a good tee shot. Looks very nice. Ideal position, left center of the fairway. It'll open up the green from there if he does decide to go for it.
Calcavecchia, second shot at 14 with a pin back left, just 15 feet in from that left edge.
Well, not the best of pin placements for Mark because he likes to hit a draw, but when he's playing well, he'll go right at it. Bit unlucky.
Back to 12, Andy.
Nick has a putt of 33 feet. This ball is going to be very quick, and as it dies, it goes right to left. He's got to play about 2 foot of break here, I believe, Gary.
Yeah, and the speed's another key, Andy. You know, this putt a little quicker than perhaps it appears.
Certainly a chance to make a huge move on 2-time Canadian Open champion Greg Norman, who has taken this week off in preparation for next week's President's Cup. But Nick Price said earlier in the week if this were any other tournament other than the Canadian Open, he too would have rested. But he won here in '91, and he loves coming up here to Glen Abbey.
Well, importantly, too, Greg Norman has said that he will not play again on the regular tour until the Tour Championship.
That putt's fooled almost every single player that's come through here. They just can't believe how much it's going to break left.
He's got some golf left, too, doesn't he?
He still has 2.5 feet. Golden advantage for Mark.
Two-time Canadian Open champion Curtis Strange thought maybe today he could get it going.
It's good to see him playing better, though, Jim. At least he's working himself back into contention in some tournaments.
Started out the day at 6 under, trailing by 4. He's still at 6 under. He's had 3 birdies and 3 bogeys on this his final round. One here in 85 and again in 87. Back to 12. This is huge for Mark.
It surely is, Jim. This putt's 12 foot long. It's going to break a little bit from his left to right. It's
on the bubble. The top 31 go to the Olympic Club in San Francisco for the $3 million Tour Championship at the end of the year.
Cumber's putt should move left to right. Stay up. The stroke looked awfully quick there.
I'd say his eyes and head followed that putt very, very quickly also, Gary.
Up ahead at 13. Fulton Allen is 8 under par. I'm sorry, this is at 14.
Putting out of the collection area in the center of the green, up the hill, moving a little left. Good putt.
Don Blake began the day at 6 under. This is at 16. He's at 7 under.
Eagle attempt there, Jim, so he should tap in to get to 8 under. Wouldn't be surprised if we see an eagle at 16 today. Pin on the right-hand side, pretty accessible.
Price now.
Even though this is only 2.5 feet, this time of the day, there's a lot of spike marks. You got to just make sure you hit a real solid putt. Get it started on your line.
Never a hesitation. Changing clubs. Calcavecchia at 13.
Well, he's got a touchy little shot here, Jim. It's out of the longish rough, and it is downhill. Greens have continued to dry out throughout the week and have increased in speed.
Lehman going for it at 13, trailing by 1.
Well, this is an interesting choice. Now, obviously, he thinks he can hit it far enough, but his natural shot is right to left. That does not fit this hole at all. You need to be bringing it in left to right. And it appears to be going a little left. Has missed the green left, and that is long and no good.
Calcavecchia.
Well, after going through a couple of clubs, he's come up with the putter, and Jim, this is probably the safest choice. I'm not sure he's thinking about making it using this club, but he thinks he can get it close. And that's that scruffy grass.
That's a wicked lie you had right there.
That was Fulton Allen's voice in the background there, that South African accent, saying it was a scruffy lie that you had. So Calcavecchia's got some golf left. Long way to go in the final round of the Bell Canadian Open.
The fund may enter into interest rate swaps, caps, and floors on either an asset-based or liability-based basis, i.e. the 2 payment streams netted out, with the fund receiving or paying, as the case may be, only the net amount of the 2 payments. The fund will not enter into any interest rate swap, cap, or floor transaction unless the unsecured senior debt or the claims-paying ability of the other party thereto is rated in the highest rating category of at least one nationally recognized statistical rating organization at the time of entering into the transaction. The net amount of the excess of any of the fund's obligations over its entitlements with respect to each interest rate swap will be accrued on.
Introducing the all-new GMC Sonoma. We've packed everything we know into this one, Sonoma from GMC Truck.
Okay, you're a big, important executive with a big, important job. How do I know that? Well, you're watching golf, aren't you? Anyway, you need a new computer system for your company. Big investment. You're up at night. Your tummy hurts. Hey, relax and do what 70,000 other businesses do. Call CompUSA. More than 2/3 of the Fortune 100 do. So why don't you give CompUSA a call? This advertising thing works. Hello? Yes, the golf will resume momentarily.
Realize your potential. Be a player. If your pro shop doesn't have the FX irons in stock to fit you, Bram will custom build a set for you, guaranteed.
Call 1-800-FX-CLUBS for details.
Plastic bottles and bags in our waterways are more than a litter problem. They kill. Hi, I'm Gary Jobson, ESPN sailing analyst. Don't throw your trash overboard. Remember, you can make a world of difference.
Trailing by 1, Mark McCumber on the tee. Andy?
The wind has switched a little bit, Jim. I believe if Mark just nails 2 of them, he'll have a chance to knock it on this green in 2, and he'd love to hit that high left to right shot, which really fits the second shot. He's hit it really solid down the right center of the fairway if it hits hard.
You were saying this morning, thank you, Mr. Nicklaus, for designing this course. It truly favors a fader, and Mark said, I'm a fader. Before Mark, Nick.
Nick it up. Now Nick started this shot down the left-hand side of the fairway. It's going to end up just in the left-hand rough, and I don't believe he's going to have a chance to knock it on this green in 2, which might end up being an advantage to him, Gary. He's gone at it for 2 days in a row and made 2 sixes.
Well, if it forces him to lay up, then you pretty much will eliminate any chance of making 6, that's for sure.
Calcavecchia for his par at 14.
Well, feel putt. Can't get it outside the hole left, and he did.
So now live on the tee after his bogey, Calcavecchia falls to 9 under, along with, of course, Mark McCumber.
Well, and he needs to regroup right now, Jim. Put that bogey out of his mind, play the 15th hole smart, and then he's got 16 and 18, the 2 par 5s that he can certainly reach into.
Yeah, after he missed his par putt, he walked about 20 feet away from that ball and just talked to himself.
Put a little more. Get up. It's a little 7-iron. I don't know if it stays there, but it won't. It's going to catch the slope. And Jim, we've talked about it all week long, the difficulty of a 150-yard par 3. You have got to put the ball on the level where the flag is cut. If you don't, that's exactly what will happen.
Keep going, Mark. Come on, Mark. Regroup, buddy.
Just before that, Fulton Allen still in this game, folks. He's at 9 under par. Birdied 13 to get there.
It's just a little 3/4 7-iron for Fulton. Yes, see, now he's got it on the proper level where the flag's cut, and he has a makeable putt.
Tom Lehman. 3rd shot at 13. Tom trailing by 1.
Can't tell you how hard this is, Jim. The good news is he actually got it through the shortcut and into the longer grass, so he might have a chance to actually slide the club underneath the ball and lob it up in the air and onto the green. But once it catches onto the green, it is straight downhill toward the hole. That's the shot he's going to try to play. Put it way up in the air. Slow down, slow down. That's just about as good as you could do from there.
Defending champion David Frost birdied 16, birdied 17, but a 1 over par 73. He's in at 2 under par. Mike Holbert, same score. Well, we talked about the 10 players here getting ready for the President's Cup next week. Ryder Cup format at the Robert Trent Jones Club in Lake Manassas, Virginia. And, of course, we've got a preview next week right here. The international turn that golf has taken in the last decade has been given yet another boost. The President's Cup. International players previously ineligible to play in the Ryder Cup will now be going head-to-head in that same Ryder Cup format against the best American players. The President's Cup offers spectators still another glimpse of the dramatics of match play that is so seldom seen in professional golf. American captain Hale Irwin will head a team made up of the top players on the money list for this past year. Hale himself included in that list. Jay Haas and Phil Mickelson were added as captain's choices. Phil has played in international team competition as an amateur.
You really feel close to your teammates. The guys that you play against day in and day out, and you want to rack their, beat them every day, are now your teammates, and you feel kind of a closeness with them, and you feel responsible to play well for not only yourself but for these guys also. And then you throw in, sure, that you're playing for your country against others, but I think that the neat thing about these competitions are being able to play with guys that you're normally always playing against.
And Masters runner-up Tom Lehman thinks that one day the President's Cup could rival the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, I think it will. The Ryder Cup right now has gotten so big and so much hype that it'd be tough to match that. But with time, I think, I'm sure there'll be a lot of, great golf being played and people will enjoy it. And it might take a few years, but eventually it might get up there.
Freddie Couples was out for months with an injured back, yet he still qualified for the President's Cup, and he knows what's in store.
going to be a big deal 30 years from now. It might as be a big deal the first year we have it, and I'm excited to be on the team.
International captain David Graham's team the favorite. Players like Norman, Frost, and Price will be tough as captain's choice. Fulton Allen will too. Price and his teammates have been waiting a long time to be a part of this international competition.
It's going to be a big deal for us, you know, and it's the first opportunity that many of us have had for a long time to play head-to-head match play and against, you know, one of the strongest teams in the world. I mean, you know, if the European team and we're over there and we made it a three-way somehow, it would be great. But I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be something that's going to grow in stature in the years to come, and it's going to be the kind of thing. I don't think it'll ever equal the Ryder Cup, and it's not supposed to, but I think it'll be just as important.
A lot of excitement for the President's Cup. First round action live next Friday right here on ESPN. I'll be hosting. It'll be fun to be part of the inaugural event.
Well, I think it's going to be very exciting, Jim. I know there's been a lot written that the U.S. team appears maybe a little weaker, but I tell you what, I think these guys are going to show for themselves very nicely.
There are the air times for next Friday and a preview program on Thursday night. Andy North and I there at the Robert Trent Jones Club in Lake Manassas, Virginia. Hope you'll tune in both Thursday night for our preview program and our live Friday action. Calcavecchia now to tie for the lead.
Putting up that severe slope. He has got to hit it firmly enough. Look at this. Oh, great putt.
Well, and a nice way to regroup after his bogey back at 14. Now Tom Lehman to tie for the lead.
Uphill putt with not a lot of break to it. The ball got stuck in the fringe coming out, Jim.
We've seen a lot of that today, haven't we? Fulton Allen.
Didn't hit it. Didn't hit it.
Now back to Andy North with McCumber.
This might be the shot of the tournament for Mark. 226 yards downwind, 3-iron. He can just hit a good solid shot over the edge of that tree. Play his normal cut. It looks like he's overcut it, Gare.
Might have caught the bunker, Andy?
Yeah, I think it might have.
Well, if it's in the bunker, it's not too bad. We just saw Calcavecchia there a few minutes ago. He was able to get it up and down and make birdie.
Dan Halderson started out the day at 6 under. He's been on the bogey train. His birdie putt at 16 stays out. Dan is 4 over par today. Talking about the pressure of being the low Canadian in the tournament, he said that's like being the tallest midget.
Well, and he also kind of said he hoped that he didn't flame out today, and I think he certainly has done that.
Greg Kraft did not flame out. 3 under 69. He's in at 7 under along with Payne Stewart and Bob Estes. Estes with a 4 under 68. Multiple winners were a rarity earlier in the year. In fact, it took 21 weeks before Nick Price became the first man to win twice on the tour. He leads the tour with 5 victories. 2 weeks ago, Masters champion Jose Maria Olazabal became the second multiple winner with a victory at the World Series of Golf. And then, last week, Mike Springer, who captured his first PGA Tour victory at Greensboro, won again at Milwaukee. So these players are all looking to join the ranks of multiple winners, and Nick Price going for victory number 6.
What I love most of all about the King Cobra is the flight of the driver.
I'm hitting more good-looking shots than I've ever hit. I wish I'd have made this move a long time ago.
King Cobra is oversized.
Get used to it.
You know, these creatures are known for, well, following the crowd. That's because they're sheep. You, of course, are not. You don't just follow the crowd. Unless that crowd happens to be more than 2/3 of the Fortune 100. And just where are they all going? Well, for computer products, to CompUSA. I imagine they know what they're doing. So, don't just follow the crowd. Follow the leaders to CompUSA. Hey, Doris, no shoving.
We're the Kodak Fun Saver cameras. Black Shot World, here we come. Film and camera, all in one. We go where no camera would dare. We're here to save the day. 1 of 3 panorama. Kodak Fun Saver is the camera. Get a view wide as Timbuktu. Here to save the day. Dive right into the water. We go where no camera oughta. Your vacation looks sensational. Kodak Fun Saver cameras. Save the day. See ya.
I'm Mark Sosin from ESPN Saltwater Journal. Estuaries are among our richest and most beautiful resources. Let's preserve and protect this fragile environment. you can make a world of difference.
Tuned to a world with its very own wavelength. No words, just deeds. Hot Summer Nights with Elle McPherson, tomorrow at 9 on ESPN.
On the tee, trailing by 1, Tom Lehman.
Taking a 3-wood, Jim. I like that play.
Yes.
Looks like he made a good swing. That should take the bunkers on the far left-hand side of the fairway out of play. And you can see how fast this Glen Abbey course is playing. These fairways have really firmed up.
Back to Price at 13.
12 yards. Just a nice 3/4 pitching wedge. This is right. These are the shots he's hit so close all year long.
Well, we're really seeing the greens firming up, aren't we, Andy? I've seen ball after ball now, hitting and moving.
Absolutely, Gare.
Fear of the 13th is a triskaidectophobia, and Nick's got it.
Well, he sure does. Those 2 6s in rounds 2 and 3, going for that green in 2, as Andy North talked about, finding 16 Mile Creek, making 2 6s. Shouldn't do that today, though.
Mark McCumber bunkered at 13.
And Mark has a wonderful lie, a little bit on the upslope. He ought to be able to put it up in the air, put some spin on it. Nicely done. Can't believe it stopped that quickly.
He looked like Phil Rogers at the Tradition a couple of years ago, charging up San Juan Hill the way he came out of that bunker to find out where it was located. The leaderboard, as things stand right now, 4 are trailing by just 1, make it 5 now. Brian Cam with a birdie at 17, so we go to the tee at 16. Allen.
Oh, that looked like that. It was headed left in a hurry, and that rough on the left side is deep. That will eliminate any chance of him reaching the green in 2. These 2 par 5s coming up, 16 and 18, I think Jim will certainly go a long way toward determining who wins this golf tournament. Remember last year it was David Frost knocking it on in 2 at 18, 2 putting for birdie to beat Freddie by a stroke.
Hit that 5-wood for his second shot after his caddy wanted him to lay up. David said, "I didn't come here to tie, I came here to win." Calcavecchia has played 16 and 18 very well.
He has 5 under par through the first 3 rounds on these 2 holes alone. There's a perfect tee shot that is long enough. He will have a chance to reach it in 2.
Price now from the shadows at 13.
Nick, from 15 feet, this ball, as it loses speed, is going to go right to left, 3 or 4 inches. He's made so many of these this year, you just sort of expect him to make another one.
Oh, yes. It's been that kind of a year. His lead is bigger. Earlier, Gary was with him.
Mickey, when we left you yesterday, you were headed to the practice tee, kind of searching a little bit. Did you find anything?
Well, I knew what I was doing out there, Gary. It's just in the middle of the round, it's hard to stop doing it. And what happens to me when I play in a lot of wind is my legs overpower my golf swing. So I came out and I tried to slow down the bottom half of my swing and just let my shoulders work a little better. And it was a little better yesterday on the practice tee. And I've done some thinking last night and this morning, and hopefully I'll have it sorted out by the time I start hitting balls.
Now, do you think it's going to make it tough to play today if you're trying to think too much about that?
Well, you know, what I'm going to try and do is fix it out here, and then once I get on the golf course, forget about it, you know, and just go out and play golf. But, you know, it was a little unsettling yesterday, so hopefully I won't have, I don't think I'll take as many chances as I did yesterday unless I have to, you know, so I might play a little smarter today.
Did we keep that putter warm overnight?
Well, I tell you, it's the way it's been working the last 3 weeks, boy. It's my most prized possession right now, and you know, it's just great for me because after having been through so many lean years with the putter, to suddenly it's rapidly becoming the strongest part of my game. So it's new territory for me.
You saw that birdie by McCumber. You saw Mark kiss the ball to stay in the game. We showed you that eagle putt by Nick Price. So the leaderboard as things stand right now. And, you know, I think one of the things that has impressed me all week with all the demands on Nick Price, he's won 5 times, $1.2 million in earnings. he's still been able to do the interviews. He's been pleasant. He's been smiling. He's been friendly. I mean, you wouldn't know if he's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders at all.
Well, he has not changed one bit with all this success.
Lehman, second shot at 14. Get up onto that second ridge. Nick Price actually at 11 under par. That's wrong.
Graphic is incorrect, Jim. It was a birdie that he made at 13, so he went from 10 under to 11 under.
So it's Price at 11, McCumber at 10, Cam and Allen and Calcavecchia and Lehman at 9. Price at 11. Calcavecchia waiting. Like the way he gathered his thoughts after that bogey at 14. I mean, maybe the old Calcavecchia might have exploded.
Well, there's no doubt about that. We've seen Mark come apart on a number of occasions, but, you know, he took away a lot of confidence from last week, Jim, when he ended up coming right down the stretch with a chance to win. He did bogey the last hole, which cost him finishing second, but he told me earlier in the week, I got a lot of confidence from that. It was nice to be back in the hunt, have those good feelings again. You know, you got to remember, too, he's matured. He's getting a little bit older, father now.
Meanwhile, up on the green, Stricker. Steve was in this tournament early on. Says he feels very comfortable here in Canada. Of course, he played on the Canadian Tour for a while. And Curtis Strange, 6 under par, even par today, 3 birdies and 3 bogeys. Back out of Brian Cam. He birdied 17 to get it to 9 under par. Here he is at the home hole.
Well, it looks like it's going left, which is where you would expect it, trying to lay up. And unless he catches an awful lie, it shouldn't be too bad. Jimmy, he had one of his best tournaments here about 3 years ago. He tied for 8th. Won at the time his largest check in his career.
Green is clear. Calcavecchia can fire away. He's 2 off the lead.
242 yards to the hole. Again, this shot sets up perfectly if you go left to right. And he started a little left. Ball carried just to the left of the flag. Ran to the back fringe, but that should be no problem making 4. Chance to make eagle 3.
Into the eyes of Tom Lehman, the runner-up at Augusta this year at 14. Won the tournament at Memorial, beat Greg Norman by a single shot.
And Jim, this is a downhill right to left putt. Look how far right he is aiming. A good 4.5 feet to the right of the hole. How about this?
That's exactly what happened to him on the back 9 at Augusta. I mean, he kept kissing the cup the whole back 9.
He did. He hit plenty of shots good enough to make birdies, but just didn't get the putts to go down. Again, 14, you make 4. It's the hardest hole on the golf course. More bogeys there than any other hole here at Glen Abbey. When you make a par, you're doing just fine.
Out of the University of Minnesota, Lehman is 5th on the money list this year. Hogan Player of the Year back in '91 on the Hogan Tour. A moment ago, 3rd shot, Fulton Allen.
Oh.
So Fulton Allen with a great birdie putt coming up at 16.
Goes to show you there's more ways to make birdie than knock it on in 2.
There is that menacing 16-mile creek that winds its way through the valley holes here at Glen Abbey, the home of the Bell Canadian Open.
At GMC Trucks, we've built a reputation for truck strengths. A considerable advantage. It also comes in this handy take-home side. Sierra from GMC Truck.
Can a 2-piece ball compete on the tour? Just ask Nick Price how it worked over there. And over here. The Precept EV Extra Spin. Just imagine what it can do for you.
With the Big Bertha irons, you can hit the ball from the rough, longer, straighter, and higher, just like I do.
Bertha irons at fine golf shops.
Tomorrow, Doug and Ann Porter will watch their only daughter walk down the aisle. The McDades will embark on a retirement journey to Scotland. And the Sweeneys will pack the last in a series off to college. Tomorrow, the dreams of many will be realized, thanks to a simple broker philosophy.
We must never rest in our commitment to the individual.
For those of us at Dean Witter, like Dave Rieger.
Dave, are you still working?
We measure success one investor at a time.
There are several ways to send a package overseas. Most are reliable and quick. But when it comes to price, they can't compete. Because Express Mail International will get your package abroad for as little as $11.50. Most other published rates don't even come close. We fly worldwide, starting at about half the price. Express Mail International from the Postal Service. When you don't want to spend a bundle, we deliver for you. Call for a free information kit.
I was in a coma for 6 weeks.
You ready to hit this one?
Then after the accident, I had to learn how to do it all over again.
All right, good shot. Richard's courage and determination is inspiring. Here in my old hometown of Akron, Ohio, there's an air of hope for the disabled. The PGA Tour's NEC World Series of Golf helps charities like the Challenge Course, making success stories like Richard's possible. The PGA Tour, anything's possible.
It's given me my life back.
Trailing by 1, second shot, McCumber at 14.
Mark has 151 yards, just a nice 8-iron. He wants to be aggressive. At the same time, he does want to get the ball past this hole. And the Valley ate up another one. But still, he's 30 feet, 25 feet putting up the hill.
Well, it's okay if it's already there, but it's not okay.
And Tom Lehman on the tee at 15.
3/4 7-iron for Tom. And very fortunate. Ball stayed there. It could have come back another 15 or 20 feet.
152 yards with the pin 18 feet in, right-hand edge. Calcavecchia now from the fringe at 16, third shot.
Down the hill, moving to the right. Try to come back just a little left at the end, not bad.
Nick Price at 14.
Everything's done right.
It's 149 yards. Gary made that swing he made yesterday quite a few times, pushing the ball well to the right.
Yeah, he was talking about it in his soundbite that his legs just get moving faster than his upper body, and he gets out in front of it. That will be a very difficult up and down from there.
Fulton Allen at 16 misses his birdie putt, and he's got a 2-footer still to stay at 9 under par. Brian Cam a moment ago. Again, he birdied at 14. Another birdie at 17. He's at 9 under par, 2 off the lead. The 18th, the par 5. But wait till you see where the pin is in relation to where his shot is.
Well, Brian needs a good tournament, Jim. He's currently 154th on the money list. So a good tournament here will move him up on that battle trying to get in the top 125.
Out of Tampa in Florida State, he has 1 win on the Hogan Tour, Brian Cam.
Not surprising to see him playing well here in the 4th round, Jim. Last year, he led the PGA Tour in Sunday stroke average, 69.04.
Billy Andrade finished up, birdie at 16, birdie at 17, but a 1 over par 73. Mickelson disappeared. Phil had high hopes today, took a double bogey at 13, started out bogey, finished at -2. He'll be with us next week at the President's Cup.
Davis Love came back with a good round of 69 to finish at -2.
Brian Cam.
Birdie putt to get to 10 under. Pretty good effort.
And a really good round of 4 under 68 if he makes that par putt to finish at 9 under par. So that will help him on the money list where he has earned $77,000.
Yeah, good check here, Jim, which he should certainly make. If he can tap this one in, will, as I said earlier, go a long way toward helping him retain his playing privileges.
Best finish ever last year at the Cannon Hartford Open when he finished tied for 7th. He does have the win at the Panama City Classic off the Hogan Tour, and he's in now with a solid round of 4 under 68 to finish at -9. Terrific tournament. Into the eyes of Nick Price. Andy?
Nick's got a pretty straightforward chip shot. He has a nice lie. All he's got to do is take a 7 or an 8 iron, just get it on the green, let the ball filter down to the hole. It's going to have a large break from right to left. Speed's going to be the biggest problem.
Yeah, this is up where we saw Tom Lehman putting from a few moments ago. He played about 4 or 5 feet of break.
Gary's misjudged the speed a little bit.
Well, his putter saved him yesterday when he had 8 birdies, 4 bogeys, and 6 pars. We'll have to see if he can do it again at 14. This has been the hardest hole here all week. 25 birdies, but 116 bogeys, 23 doubles going into this round. Not only is it one of the hardest holes this week, it's one of the hardest holes on tour all year.
Yes, it certainly is, Jim, and it starts at the tee shot, as Andy North was talking about earlier, going across 16 Mile Creek. Then it's up to a green that has a lot of undulation in it. In fact, Mark McCumber will be putting out of what Jack Nicklaus calls the collection area, right in the center of the green.
And Gary, it's going up quite a large hill. It's going to be about 25 feet, and at the end it should break a little bit to right to left, but as it goes up the hill it should be very straight going up the hill, which has fooled a lot of players. I'll tell you, that was a huge putt Mark made on the last hole after Nicky made it right in front of him. Gary, that wasn't the boldest of plays, but he's got a pretty simple 4, and that's really what you're looking at when you tee off on this hole.
Lehman now trying to get it to 10 under.
Putting off the fringe. We've seen a lot of balls hop coming out of the fringe grass when guys have used putters, and that one did too.
McCumber to stay at -10.
Okay, Mark.
Well, interesting. Mark McCumber electing to putt out. And perhaps just a little bit of match play there, Jim. He certainly was within his rights, but also wanted to get that ball into the hole and have his 4 in before Nick Price putts.
Gary, I think that's a real smart play, because if Nick happens to make this, there'll be a lot of yelling and screaming, and then to have to try to putt that 2-footer after that sometimes can be very disconcerting. I think that's a veteran play by Mark. Gary, this putt is a tough putt. It's only 8 or 9 feet long, but it's a combination of tough to read the speed and tough to read how much it's going to break from right to left.
Most of the players we've seen putting from this side have underplayed the break, ball turning a little more than they have seen.
Is it any good? Oh, man. Are you kidding me? Ho-hum. Just a routine par. Nick Price stays at 11 under par, 2 under on his final round, and they will head to the final 4 holes in regulation. Paired together, Price nursing a 1-shot lead over playing partner Mark McCumber. Lehman up ahead at 15 for his par. Stay within striking distance and trail Price by 2. Well done. Calcavecchia is at 10 under. He trails by 1. Lehman 9 under. In the clubhouse at -9, you've got Brian Camp. Mark O'Meara at 18, 8 under for the tournament, 2 under today. 3rd shot home hole.
We've talked an awful lot about it this week, about Mark regaining some of that lost confidence. He has not played well in about 18 months. This is not an easy shot, even though it's just a pitching wedge. The pin today is located in the back right portion of this green, some 30 yards deep on the green and only 15 feet from the edge of the water.
Really played some of his best golf at the Oregon Golf Club that 3rd week in August.
Well, that really started his comeback, I think, Jim, and then played 4 good solid rounds last week in Milwaukee. Safe shot.
Price, tee at 15.
Nick with an 8 iron, 152 yards, just right at
it. Easily the best we've seen today.
That's a pretty good indication why this man's the best player in the world right now. Plays a real scratchy hole at 14. Ends up just knocking in a tough putt, and then steps up and stiffs it at the next.
Well, he ignited the crowd back behind the green, and McCumber was teasing the crowd. He said, "Oh, stop it."
Well, I'll tell you what, Mark's handled this awfully well. And I think being a real veteran player and having won many times, it's, you know, that's a big advantage. This is a pin that's very accessible for Mark. You can just take it to the middle of the green, play his normal practice range 8-iron. It should just fade right in there by the hole. And he's swinging very, very well, Gare. This one's got to get up.
Oh, terrible bounce. That is not good. Side hill lie, long grass, not much green to work with.
But the temperament to deal with it. You heard his reaction. He just went, that's kind of interesting. Calcavecchia, second shot at 17.
Well, out of the trees on the right-hand side, trying to play a low shot, run it through the opening or the bunker. Got a good break when that ball came out of the trap.
And there's a good look at the very unusual and somewhat controversial green. J. Don Blake, an eagle at 18. He's in the clubhouse at 10 under par with a 4 under 68. Price, a birdie putt when we come back. Americans have been shut out of the Canadian Open in recent years. South Africa's David Frost won in 1993. Australia's Greg Norman took home the crown in 1992. Before that, it was another South African. 1991 was the year of Nick Price. But you have to go all the way back to 1990 to find an American winning this tournament. Wayne Leving. Who was the last Canadian to win the event? Pat Fletcher back in 1954.
Football. Nobody beats the Wiz Price Patrol Exhibit A. 10 cassettes purchased from a national music chain, $109.90. The same 10 cassettes at Nobody Beats the Wiz, $79.80. 10 CDs from a national music chain, $173.90. The same 10 CDs at Nobody Beats the Wiz, $119.80. Beginning to notice a trend. At Nobody Beats the Wiz, we shop, you save. Our price is right every day.
For some, it's more than just another game. It's the only game. At the World of Golf, we've got everything you need to improve your game, whether you play once a day or once in a while. That's why we've been New York's favorite golf shop for more than 25 years. The World of Golf, 47th between Lex and 3rd, where golf is the only game in the world.
Sports news is finally available. Bob knows.
Morning, Bob. Your email yesterday, dead on. The Dodgers pulled it out last night with some 12th inning heroics.
With ESPN Net on Prodigy, Bob talks to the Sports Center pros every day.
Hey, Bob, for answers to your NFL questions, check out the inside info on coaching changes.
What you want, when you want. Call 1-800-ESPN-PRO. Get ESPN Net on Prodigy.
Hey, how about some Super Bowl tickets?
Lake Ontario, a great harbor there, shipping haven, in downtown Toronto, off in the distance, a very quiet Sky Dome. Any news on the baseball strike? Sports Center, of course, will bring it to you. Now, they're asking the gallery to be quiet because you can see the shadows there. A lot of the people up against the ropes, and it was distracting McCumber.
Well, it's not distracting as long as they don't move, Jim. Once they move, then it is very distracting. This is an almost impossible shot for McCumber. He's going to have to bounce the ball into the bank and hope it bumps up. Not bad. Not bad.
And Gary's still putting up the hill a little bit, so he's got a very makeable putt.
Speaking of uphill putts, Fulton Allen, field goal time.
Well, the pin today is 45 yards deep on the 17th green, so that putt had to be about 37 yards. And good thing the hole got in the way. Powder burns. Little smile there. Thank you very much, hole.
A moment ago, Calcavecchia trailing by 1.
Play a low bump and run type shot. And to be honest with you, Jim, that's not great from where he was. Should have been able to put the ball closer than that.
This is huge for Mark. There could be a two-shot swing.
Yes, Jim, but if he knocks this one in first, Nick's putt is not as easy as we might think, even though it's 6 feet long, so he could walk out of here even if he knocks this one in. Should be just right edge or just a little bit outside right. Because it's still a little bit uphill, he can give this one a pretty good run at, and he's putted very, very well all week long. He made that huge putt back at 13. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he made this.
I think Mark just told Nick that he'll finish up.
Nowhere near you?
We've talked about it all week long that this whole place is so tough, even though it's a 150-yard shot. Another indication.
Back to -9. Price to go to 12 under with his birdie putt at 15. One of the stories that Andy and Gary have been detailing is a very important lesson that Nick has learned.
Well, and talking to him earlier in the week, he said, you know, one of the keys to this run that I've had over the last 2 or 3 years was to really be able to learn the importance that each shot is just of equal value. None is any more important than any other. They all are just strokes. They all add up, and they really don't mean anything until you finish the round.
Well, Gary, I think this one means something. I think if he makes this one, this thing's over with, because he's going to make at least one birdie in those last 3 holes.
I want to see him win.
This putt is really, really fast. Just make up your mind where you want to start it, and then just work really hard on the speed.
Automatic.
You know, the funny thing is he's on the verge of winning maybe for the 6th time this year, and he's not in the top 10 in the stats as far as putting.
No, but he is putting so much better than he did for, say, the previous 6 or 7 years. It's unbelievable.
This was J. Don Blake and his eagle putt to get him into the house at 10 under par. So a nice check. He's currently 70th on the money list, 219,000. The top 70, of course, qualifies for some rather nice invitational events. Top 31 get into the Tour Championship this year. Calcavecchia for his par to stay at 10 under within striking distance.
Must-make putt for Calcavecchia. Good stroke. Yes.
Calcavecchia heads to the par 5 18th, trailing Nick Price by 2. J. Don Blake is in. He's out of real estate.
Everything we know into this one, Sonoma from GMC Truck.
The house is this room, brick and mortar. The home is what will take place in this room when we're all finished. What takes place inside of a house really makes it a home, and what takes place inside of one of our stores makes it a special place for the customers. What we are about is service. We're in the yes business. Yes, we accept American Express. The last thing that Home Depot is into is putting limits on customers.
The American Express card is welcomed at the Home Depot and lots of other places close to home.
Golfsmith, the world's largest manufacturer and distributor of golf club-making components, has joined Harvey Penick to design the new Harvey Penick collection of golf club heads. Harvey Penick custom-made golf clubs are available only from your independent Golfsmith club maker. Call 1-800-PENICK-1 to place his wisdom and experience in your hands.
You find yourself in an inverted 12-week cycle. Now, there are many oscillations in strength, but you must look into the future, even futures themselves. You see the contrarive wave trend sideways. You're experiencing month-end seasonality. Always, though, you must align yourself with real values.
Is she an astrologer? Financial analyst.
Debt-equity ratios, earning growth momentum, current asset ratios, all of these will point you on your true course.
Okay, but where do I put my money?
When you say money, do you mean actual money?
Tom Lehman, second shot at 16, a hole he has not exactly conquered, Gary Cope.
He certainly has not. Not a single birdie here yet this week, but that will be a very makeable eagle putt if it will stay up, but it will not. Down into the valley.
And as you check the leaderboard and how they're playing today, J. Don Blake helped out by that eagle at 18. Brian Cam is in at 9 under. Nick Price continues his simply phenomenal play, and his lead is 2 with 3 to go. Steve Stricker struggling in his final round, the young man out of Wisconsin who tied for 4th here a year ago, and Payne Stewart finished up with a 3 under 69 in at 7 under, along with Greg Kraft and Bob Estes.
Steve Stricker now, eagle putt at 16. Out of the valley, up the ridge right there. This young man has displayed a good touch on these greens this week. Speed has been excellent.
Fulton Allen in the fairway at 18, laying up 2 under today, 9 under for the championship.
Good position. Leave him with a pitching wedge, third shot.
He'll be in the President's Cup next week.
And
playing
he's excited
for the
about it.
Yep. Playing for the Boys Club, Boys Town of Orlando, Florida.
And as I mentioned yesterday, Jim, he holds a Pro-Am tournament every March to help raise funds for that charity.
Back to 16, and Tom Lehman trailing by 3.
This is for his eagle, which would jump him to 11 under par. Can't help but think back to the Masters early this year when he had an eagle putt at 15. Of course, that was after Jose Maria Olazabal had already run in a 30-footer for eagle. This putt, difficult to judge the speed. Coming up that slope about halfway between himself and the hole. Moving a little left to right as it makes its way uphill. Well, I would say he's now played 16 a little bit better than he had in the previous 3 rounds. Great putt.
And Nick Price could see it. 11 under for Lehman in the group, just ahead of McCumber and Nick. So it's not over yet. Lehman carving out a pretty good career at Augusta. 3rd in 93 and the runner-up this year. Way back on the tee, McCumber.
This is the hole where he hit it left into the hazard on Thursday, just like that, and he made 7. I can't believe he did it again, Jim. May have gotten a break, may have caught the trees and kicked down to where he can play it.
It did kick down, Gary. I mean, it hit the tree and stayed in the tree for, it seemed like 3 or 4 seconds, and it's come down, but he still has to just, if he's lucky, he can just beat it down the fairway 100 yards or so.
McCumber headed south, but Lehman, after that eagle at 16, has closed to within 1. Calcavecchia playing the par 5 18th. J. Don Blake in with his 68. For Plank and Tway finished at 6, Mast and Wessels at 5. Now this, the 18th, perfect example of risk and reward, eh?
Well, it certainly is, Jim. Just doesn't get any better than this. You've got a chance if you pull off the shot to make 3. If you put it in the water, you can make 6.
Andy, Mark McCumber wants a ruling back there at 16.
Well, I believe his ball is in the hazard, and it's not a very good lie. I think he just wants to make sure, Gary.
Well, it looks like he may have some of our cables, and then there's...
Sit out there and bounce. You guys need to stay away, just in case it would move. We don't want it to move enough.
Might be in the salad bar there.
Under that big leaf.
Well, I tell you, Gary, that was just an unbelievable. He pulled that 30 yards left of where he wanted to go after literally hitting every shot all day long like he wanted to.
Sorting it out, Calcavecchia has decided.
2-iron, 223 yards. This is white knuckle time. He likes it. He likes it. He likes it. Excellent shot and really a bad break for the ball to just trickle into the longish rough.
On the tee at 17, Lehman.
Be careful here. Tom likes to move the ball right to left, and there's a series of bunkers up the left-hand side. But that is perfect.
When Tom Lehman was the player of the year on the Hogan Tour, he had 11 top 10 finishes. 6 times he was first or second. So McCumber waiting for the ruling, Romaine or Endive.
Yeah. All right. That's right in front of the ball. That moves, I know where to put it back to. Good.
At GMC Truck, we've built a reputation for truck strengths. A considerable advantage. It also comes in this handy take-home side. Sierra from GMC Truck.
We're the Kodak Fun Saver cameras. Black Shot World, here we come. Film and camera, all in one. We go where no camera would dare. We're here to save the day. One upgrade, panorama. Kodak Fun Saver is the camera. Get a view wide as Timbuktu. Here to save the day. Dive right into the water. We go where no camera order. Your vacation looks sensational. Kodak Fun Saver cameras. Save the day. See ya.
I love these Big Bertha irons, and you're going to also. I know they're a little bit hard to find every once in a while, but we're producing them as fast as we can. Believe me, they're worth the wait.
Big Bertha irons at fine golf shops.
Tuned to a world with its very own wavelength. No words, just deeds. Hot Summer Nights with Elle McPherson tomorrow at 9 on ESPN.
It's a quarterback fake, and the pitch goes to ESPN. ESPN cuts right and takes the whole college football season and runs with it. Thursday at 8, Army's cadets march into Blue Devil territory. ESPN college football, it's inspirational.
Watching Mark McCumber had to pitch out there of the lettuce.
And a good shot, Jim. Got the ball back in play, importantly.
Very fortunate. He still has an opportunity to make 4 after a tee shot like that. You know, a lot of times you're looking at 6 or 7 right away.
Gil Morgan birdied 18, but a round of 3 over par 75 to finish at -3. Curtis Strange, a bogey at 17. He shot a 73 today. He finished at 5 under. O'Mara finished up at -8. Round of 2 under 70.
Nick Price now from the left center of the fairway.
Gary has 227 yards, 1 iron, a little bit of breeze into him, just a perfect shot.
Looks like he started it a little to the right.
Gary is just a little left of the hole. It's perfect.
Yeah. May go in. Game, set, and match.
Like I said, Gary, just a little left of the hole.
Yeah.
What a shot.
And a little wink to his caddy Squeaky. I think you can start making out the check. Now watch what happened to McCumber.
Well, he's just trying to hack this ball out of this lettuce. And does it very nicely.
Actually fell down before he hit the shot, right? Slipped and fell. Calcavecchia at 18 for his eagle. Oh yes. Calcavecchia in at 12 under. His 2-iron set it up. Didn't have a very good lie. How do you do? 5 under 67.
Fantastic. Look at that play, Jim. 12 under par on a very difficult golf course.
Well, poor Tommy Lehman. First he hears the roar for Price's shot at 16, then the explosion at 18. Lehman's second shot at 17.
That's a 6-iron, 178 yards. Perfect fit for Tom. Likes to move it right to left. Ooh. Bit of a bad bounce.
Fulton Allen at 18 for his par to finish with a round of 70 and to join Brian Cam in at 9 under. We'll see Fulton Allen next week at the President's Cup at the Robert Trent Jones Club in Lake Manassas, Virginia. McCumber's third shot out at 16.
Mark is going to have 137 yards, just a nice solid 9-iron for him. Should be able to get this ball up there and get a good putt at it. Anything a little left of the hole goes down in that valley, as we've seen, and if you do not want to miss the green in the right fringe of that right-hand bunker where this pin is. It's just a little bit left. Just got to be lucky to stay up there. No.
And that is left. There it is now in the center of your screen.
In almost the identical position where we saw Tom Lehman just make his eagle putt from moments ago.
Just tremendous crowds here all week long, especially for the final round of the Bell Canadian Open. Nick Price trying to win for the second time in 3 years.
Golfsmith, the world's largest manufacturer and distributor of golf club-making components, has joined Harvey Penick to design the new Harvey Penick collection of golf club heads. Harvey Penick custom-made golf clubs are available only from your independent Golfsmith club maker. Call 1-800-PENICK-1 to place his wisdom and experience in your hands.
So where do you go after a round? Sounds luxurious. Well, then you'd probably appreciate the Oldsmobile 98 Special Edition. All the appointments of a traditional full-size luxury car for about 10 grand less than Lincoln Town Car. Just that buying a luxury car is a lot like golf. The lower the number, the better you've done. It's your money.
Greg Lambert isn't too worried about how to invest for Zach's college education. That's because he works with a broker from Dean Witter. Together, they developed a long-term investment plan to help take Zach wherever he wants to go.
Clients feel most comfortable with our ability to see things from their perspective.
Now, when Craig looks into his son's eyes, he can see the future and smile. Dean Witter.
We measure success, one investor at a time.
Realize your potential. Be a player.
If your pro shop doesn't have the FX irons in stock to fit you, Bram will custom build a set for you, guaranteed.
Call 1-800-FX-CLUBS for details.
Pick up the phone for the latest sports news from ESPN all day, every day.
Back with Mark McCumber, crucial putt at 16. Andy North?
Well, Mark's feeling like he's getting it lapped right now. He's in second place there, and all of a sudden there's 4 or 5 guys making eagles all over the place, and they're going by him like he's standing still. This is big, big putt for him. If he could hold this one and make 4 after that tee shot, this would be like stealing. Putt's going to be slow, and then it gets quick as it turns to the right and goes back down the hill. This is a tough, tough putt.
Tom Lehman for his par at 17.
Well, Jim, a little disappointed with his bunker shot here. I would have sure Tom expected to get this ball a little closer to the hole. 10 feet, slightly uphill. Should move a little bit from his right to left.
McCumber at 16.
That was in fact a par.
And you see Mark raising his hands, motioning like might as well just give this one to Nick.
$1.3 million in this Bell Canadian Open. Kind of liking Nick's chances of being number one on the money list
going
next
right.
week.
Yeah, I would say so. I think he was about 47,000 behind Greg Norman coming into this week. So see you later, Shark.
A birdie at 15, an eagle at 16, 14 under par, 5 under on the day, within moments of closing out victory number 6 on the year. The British Open, the PGA, back-to-back victories in majors puts that man into some rather esteemed company. Over the last 5 decades, Hogan, Palmer, Nicklaus, Trevino. Watson did it back in '82, won the U.S. and the British Open back-to-back. Price with back-to-back wins in the British Open and the PGA Championship, and maybe the pendulum is swung. Army and Duke on ESPN on Thursday night. CFA college football action live coming up this Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern Time. That'll be right after our President's Cup preview program. Andy North and I down there at the Robert Trent Jones Club in Lake Manassas, Virginia. So we hope you'll join us for our President's Cup preview, and then, of course, Duke and Army do at each other. Glen Day, 3 over today after that triple bogey back at 11.
Pitching wedge from 106 yards. Very difficult to make yourself carry the ball all the way back to the hole, but that's what you need to do. Boy, we've seen a lot of balls right there.
Glenn was certainly hoping for a better result today, trying to get into the top 31 on the money list and qualify for the Tour Championship.
I liked his answer, though, when I asked him about that. He goes, you know, hey, if I don't make it after the last tournament, hunting season's open, and that's where I'll be.
Big tee shot for Nick. Just needs to put it in the fairway. That's all he's thinking about right now. Just aim it, hit a good solid shot. Ball's gone left. Needs to get lucky.
Well, first bounce was lucky, second bounce was lucky, and guess what? Almost back in the fairway.
Second hardest hole here at Glen Abbey all week long.
And Jim, I think the main reason the controversial design of the green, it's a very narrow, small target for the length of the hole, 436 yards, especially the first 2 rounds when it played right into the teeth of the wind.
McCumber had the lead earlier. Now he's 5 back.
This tee shot fits very nicely into Mark's game. He can just put it down the left side of the fairway and play his natural cut.
Yeah. Hey, Mark.
He likes it right down the middle.
Sharing some of our pictures with CTV. There's Andy North, Natalie attired in his polo, striding down the fairway at 17, along with Nick Price, who's in the lead, closing in on win number 6 for the year, right here at the Bell Canadian Open.
Larry's Golf Shops are now offering unbelievable pricing on all brand name golf equipment and accessories. Larry's staff improves your game with proper fitting equipment that's right for your swing, stance, and ability.
Hi, I'm Larry. Remember, if we can't beat our competitors' best price on golf equipment, you'll get it free.
Larry's Golf Shops. Locations on Long Island, Manhattan, Scarsdale, and Paramus, New Jersey.
Mario Cuomo, rebuilding our transportation system. modernizing our trains, buses, and subways, making Kennedy and LaGuardia state-of-the-art, and turning Stewart Airport into a major international gateway, improving the Long Island Expressway, Taconic Parkway, and many other roads and bridges. Now the state is investing billions more to make our infrastructure second to none and help create 300,000 new jobs. Despite 2 national recessions, Mario Cuomo has laid a foundation for New York's future. And that's not just talk, it's concrete.
Great action to shot, full highlight. He just could. Go, ball, up, way!
NFL Primetime, tonight at 7 on ESPN.
Nick Price, and his lead is 2 with 2 left here in the final round of the Bell Canadian Open. Our ESPN golf team alongside. Gary Koch is here. Andy North was just saying when the players now look at the leaderboard and they see Nick Price, it strikes fear into them the same way it used to with Nicklaus and Watson. Glen Day.
Birdie putt at 18. Second to go.
Glen Day, who wound up second to Mark McCumber at the Anheuser-Busch Golf Classic. There's Nick Price walking up the 17th, reminiscent his domination now of what Watson did back in the late 70s and 1980.
There is no question about it, Jim. Watson won 5 times in 77, 5 times in 78, 5 times in 79, and 7 times in 1980. We're now looking at a Nick Price who's won 4 times last year, 6 times, it appears, this year. It's been a while since we've seen someone jump out and really take hold of the PGA Tour.
Well, I like what Ben Crenshaw was saying as you check the money list right there. Crenshaw was saying this is far more than just a roll that Nick is on. He has proved it time and time again under different conditions on different golf courses in different parts of the world.
And we're taking a look here at the money won here at Glen Abbey in the Canadian Open, and obviously Mr. Price is well on his way to taking a huge lead in that category as well. There aren't going to be many that he won't be leading.
And in case you're wondering, yes, he too is playing for Captain David Graham next week at the President's Cup. Steve Elkington, who was here, David Frost, our defending champion. Tom Lehman will also be playing next week on the tee at 18 after his bogey to fall to -10.
Certainly all hope of winning is virtually gone, but if by chance he could make eagle, he could tie Mark Calcavecchia at 12 under.
I don't like it, yeah.
I'm 49, yeah. Good. So we got about 160 to that middle bit, huh?
Yep.
55. Feel that breeze now.
Mm-hmm.
What Nick is talking about, he has 149 yards to carry the left bunker that's actually in the middle of this green, and then another 10 or 12 yards to the pin. And he has 160 to reach the bunker on the right. So he's trying to just put it in there, in between those 2 bunkers, short and right of the hole.
Came out going right.
One good thing, Gary, is the ball did not bury.
Well, that has certainly been the direction his shots have gone when he has not liked them. They've all gone to the right.
Lehman laying up at 18.
That ball, I believe, just found the left-hand rough, and when you're trying to lay the ball up and want to be able to spin a wedge into this difficult pin placement at 18, that is not good when you put it in the rough.
McCumber.
Mark with 163 yards. Difficult shot for him. There's not much room left of the hole, and he really needs to aim it over there to get it close. Big 8-iron. What a shot.
So Mark McCumber's not going to win the golf tournament. He said, I'm happy, the kids are happy, Patty's happy. Oh yes, I turned 43 on Wednesday. I'm not very happy about that.
Now Cadillac introduces powerful new savings on the most powerful line of luxury cars, with up to thousands in factory-to-dealer bonuses that can be passed on to you when you buy any new 1994 Cadillac from dealer stock, even those with the power of the North Star system. There's never been a better time to reward yourself with a new Cadillac. So see your Cadillac dealer for details. But don't wait. This limited time offer ends soon.
What I love most of all about the King Cobra is the flight of the driver.
I'm hitting more good-looking shots than I've ever hit. I wish I'd have made this move a long time ago.
King Cobra is oversized.
Get used to it.
Can a two-piece ball compete on the tour? Just ask Nick Price how it worked over there. And over here. The Precept EV Extra Spin. Just imagine what it can do for you.
I love basketball. Everybody said I was too small to play, but I did it anyway. This Celico High School team really inspires me. When these kids play in the Watts games, they're undersized and overmatched, but they never quit. It makes me feel really good to be part of a PGA Tour event like the LA Open. It helps make the Watts games possible, because on the PGA Tour,
bunkered at the par 4 17th, our leader Nick Price, shot number 3.
Decent lie, plenty of green to work with. How about that? Very nicely done.
Well, if he taps that one in, it'll be 1 putt at 14, 1 putt at 15, 1 putt at 16, 1 putt at 17.
Sort of Coke-like.
Well, maybe what it used to be like, but of course I never hit the greens in regulation.
Lehman at 18, 10 under.
This is certainly not where you want to be playing this shot from, Jim. In the very long rough. Extremely difficult to control how the ball will come out of there. But the only thing he's got going for him, good angle. Just try to punch it out of there, land it short, let it roll, let it release. Kind of like that. Well, I tell you what, a great shot from Tom Lehman. Couldn't have drawn it up any better. Good imagination, good execution.
He'll be playing next week in the President's Cup, as will Nick Price. Just toweling off, a little bit of perspiration there. And McCumber with a chance to get it to -10.
Right now, Mark's thinking 3-3 finish, but he's got to get this first one in first. What a wonderful shot he played back there. Tough shot for him. Much easier for a player who likes to bring the ball in from right to left. Should be fairly quick and fairly straight coming back down this hill. Here we've seen Mark's head move a little bit quickly. We've got a good angle. See if he can hold it real steady on this.
Nice. He hasn't looked comfortable, has he, Andy, over those last couple?
He hasn't. I think some of it's getting lapped. You know, it's an awkward feeling when you're right in the midst of trying to win the golf tournament. All of a sudden, you find yourself 3 or 4 or 5 shots behind with no chance to win. Nick obviously would like to knock this one in. He can play 18 safe if he has to, and this makes playing 18 a lot easier. 2-shot leads are a lot more fun.
Camera angle here. 3-shot routine, sets the putter down in front of the ball, lines it up, takes one look, off it goes. Oh. Well, we finally saw him miss one.
So Nick Price walks to the par 5 18th, the home hole in the Bell Canadian Open with a 1-shot lead. Calcavecchia is in at 12 under.
What I love most of all about the King Cobra is the flight of the driver.
I'm hitting more good-looking shots than I've ever hit. I wish I'd have made this move a long time ago.
King Cobra is oversized.
Get used to it.
When you're the fastest growing name in the business, there's got to be a good reason behind it.
Performance. Consistent performance. Over and over. Shot after shot after shot. Nitro. The quality to perform at your best, even though there may be one guy you just never can seem to beat. Nitro. Perform with power.
What I love most of all about the King Cobra is the flight of the driver.
I'm hitting more good-looking shots than I've ever hit. I wish I'd have made this move a long time ago.
King Cobra is oversized.
Get used to it.
The last hole of this Bell Canadian Open, unless Nick Price were to bogey and force a playoff with Calc, who's already in after Mark made an incredible eagle at 18.
McCumber now just wants to put in the fairway as far as down here as he can, give himself a chance at maybe making it 3. Try to salvage as much cash as he can. He's driven it beautifully. He'll have a chance to knock it on in 2.
Kind of like Mark's chances to be around at the Olympic Club in the $3 million Tour Championship at the end of the year. He came into this event 32nd on the money list.
Well, interesting now. Nick Price standing on the 18th tee. Club selection here. I'll be interested to see what he decides to do. Whether he's going to take a driver or 3-wood.
What would you do?
An iron. I wouldn't mind taking an iron off this tee, Jim. You take a 1-iron, you play it down there, then you've got another iron left to lay up, and you know, you take the bunkers, the deep bunkers on the left-hand side out of play.
Andy, how would you?
I agree, Gary. I mean, what he's trying to do now is make a 5 and win the golf tournament. He doesn't care about finishing pretty, making it 3 or 4. He's just trying to win the golf tournament.
Well, he has taken the driver.
He obviously drives a lot better than we did, Gary.
Confidence.
They seem to like it, just right down the heart.
Well, it kicked left and into one of those deep bunkers.
Lehman finishing up. Had an eagle at 16, a bogey at 17, and a birdie at 18. Final round 69, in at 11 under par.
We'll finish in 3rd place. Good tournament for Tom going into the President's Cup next week.
He's already 5th on the money list with $857,000. He won at the Memorial. Runner-up at Augusta. Former Hogan Tour Player of the Year. Now the Nike Tour, of course. Out of the University of Minnesota.
It'll be interesting to see, Jim, just what kind of lie Nick Price ended up with in that fairway bunker. Not over yet.
No, it's not. And Calc is waiting to find out if he's in a playoff or not. J. Don Blake had an eagle at 18. He's in at -10. Good tournament for Payne Stewart.
Best tournament of the year, Jim, for Payne Stewart. 4 solid rounds. Good to see him back playing well.
And had he not double bogeyed 8, he'd be up there even higher. Boy, the score's on 8. I mean, Maggart took a triple there. Wind was blowing earlier in the day.
Good tournament for Scott Verplank as he continues on his way to making it back into the top 125 money winners.
He and Tway had 69s today. Dick Mast was our co-first round leader along with O'Mara. He had a 5 under 67. Curtis Strange, 2-time winner here, the Canadian Open, finished at 5 under. And David Edwards has taken his airplane out of here with his round of 72. He finished at 4 under along with Guy Boros, Bill Glasson, Glenn Day, and Phil Mickelson. Elkington, Steve will be there next week at the President's Cup.
As will David Frost.
Frosty will be playing for the South African Police Widow and Orphan Fund. There's no purse. Net proceeds will be split among the players and the charities that they name.
Back with an up and down tournament.
Gary?
Yeah, Andy?
Nick's ball, in fact, did catch the bunker. He has a very nice lie. He's got a big lip in front of him. He's just going to have to come out with pitching wedges. Almost the same shot he had yesterday. He'll have to wedge down here and leave himself possibly another 125-yard shot.
Well, just what we were talking about. If he does take iron off the tee, he takes that possibility of having to play a difficult shot out of that bunker certainly out of play.
Although if he plays a good solid shot with a pitching wedge here, it's probably going to be about the same spot he would have laid up with, you know, after a long iron off the tee. But that lip sometimes
is there. That's
can
right.
be a problem.
Well, all it takes is you to hit the ball just to the fraction thin. And you certainly can catch the lip of the bunker. We saw Phil Mickelson do it earlier in the week, trying to play out of one of those deep bunkers, caught the lip, the ball jumped straight up in the air and over into the pine trees to the left.
We showed you Tom Lehman finishing up with his birdie. How about Steve Stricker, the young man who tied for 4th here last year? Birdie at 16, birdie at 17, birdie at 18. Way to go, Steve. Wife Nikki alongside as his caddy. 3 straight birdies in at 9 under, along with Brian Cam and Fulton Allen. Good finish. Said he grew up a lot here last year, didn't he?
Well, I think Steve Stricker learned a lot, no question, as we see Tom Lehman and Mark Calcavecchia both watching. Nick Price here at 18.
Just a solid shot over the lip is all he's thinking about right here. Which he did. The ball's laid up perfectly in the fairway. He's down here far enough. He doesn't have to go over much water on his 3rd. That's a perfect shot.
Funny, his reaction, though, he did not seem to like it.
Well, I think, Jim, that his reaction, he just got out of the bunker quickly because he knew he had hit it the way he wanted to. He's probably a little frustrated that he had to play it out of the bunker in the first place.
Maybe got a little sand in his eye. Now Mark.
Mark has 222 yards to the hole. All he needs to do is carry this ball in the 200 range. As firm as these greens are, the ball will run all the way back to the hole. In particular, with the shape of his shot, he can aim at left edge of the green and just hit his normal shot. 2-iron.
Started well left.
It's cutting. It's not going to cut enough, though, Gare.
I think it went over the first bunker and perhaps into the second. It's going to leave a long bunker shot, and off a downhill lie, it's not going to be too easy.
Final twosome in our field. Nick Price, 13 under par, a 1-shot spread over Calcavecchia. Mark in after an eagle at 18 at -12. Chris Berman and the whole gang standing by. NFL primetime coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern time tonight. Gary Koch's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They pulled out a win today against the Colts. All the scores and highlights. Let's walk up with our winner.
This really is quite a scene, Jim. Remember, it's a national championship. It is one that the players hold in very high esteem. Prestigious tournament. You can see the great galleries gathered around the 18th here.
Gary, I've been playing the Canadian Open for 20 years, and I have never seen this galleries this size. This is incredible.
And they've been an enthusiastic crowd today. I mean, they've been very vocal.
Well, they've been treated to some fantastic golf. I mean, the eagles and birdies flying all over the place. This has been really fun to watch.
Now you see Nick appears to be walking up to take a look at that huge scoreboard that is across the lake. Wanted to make sure he knows exactly how he stands. Something he did in the British Open earlier in the year, and it certainly turned out in his favor.
Something Parnevik did not do.
And I bet he does it the next time. Important here now, you want to make sure you get the right yardage. Nick will rely on caddy, regular caddy Squeaky, Jeff Medlin, to give him the exact numbers. So one thing you don't want to do is make a mistake.
Nice ovation for Mark McCumber, the winner of the Anheuser-Busch Golf Classic. When we brought you coverage there from Kings Mill on ESPN earlier in the year, and now Nick, 3rd shot.
Just a good, solid pitching wedge for him. Short of the pin is fine. He doesn't want to get this ball going too deep. Pin's only cut about 12 feet from the very back edge of the green. He wants this ball on the putting surface.
Well, you got to think, Andy, that it will, chances are 99 out of 100 that it'll end up somewhere short and a little left.
Absolutely, and that's where all the green is today.
And we see Squeaky is going to double check this yardage. This, as I said, crucial. You don't want to make a mistake. Making sure he finds the right sprinkler, finds the right mark. I think Jim, one of the problems he may be having here a little bit is they've laid up a little bit farther back because of playing the wedge out of the bunker than he normally would have. So consequently, trying to locate the sprinkler a little farther away than they normally would be using.
A bogey by Price, and that man, the 1989 British Open champion, after his victory at Troon in a playoff.
Well, got to be some good thoughts going through Mark Calcavecchia's head, even if he doesn't win. Last week, he kind of gave away a chance to win the tournament on the 18th hole at the Milwaukee Open. This week, he closed with an eagle. Did everything he could.
On Andy North's golf course there in Milwaukee that looked terrific.
Okay, Nick, just a good solid shot. It's plenty long. Beautiful shot.
A little short, a little left. Ideal.
You really run out of adjectives, don't you? Remarkable, phenomenal.
Well, I think the thing that we've witnessed here in the 4 days of play, Jim, is that he's not only capable of playing great golf, there's no weakness in his game. And even on days when he's not playing his best, he's still shooting good scores. Yesterday, a great example. Struggled and still shot 68.
And really didn't arrive here until the middle of the week. Played in the Pro-Am on Wednesday. Didn't come in early. Didn't play a practice round to speak of.
Well, said he was tired, that he was weary, and wanted to spend that extra day or two at home. And obviously, Nick Price knows what's best for Nick Price.
Now McCumber, 9 under.
This is really a difficult shot. He's got a downhill lie. He's got to hit a wonderful shot just to carry the ball up onto the green and not get it going too fast with the water right behind the hole. This is a shot. The tendency is it's going to come out much faster than you want it, and you won't get any spin on it. This would be a huge up and in for Mark as far as dollars are concerned. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. What a shot, Gary.
That was very well played, Andy. As you said, carried the ball right where he had to, just to the edge of the green.
And watch Mark's reaction.
Come on. Go a little right. Come on.
A little more. That's not a full-fledged leaner, is it?
No, no. That's just a little playing traffic cop. Just a little directional move.
And a chance for a nice up and down.
All right. Right up here.
Nick Price might need a new mantle.
Tell you what, he might need a new house. He'll be the first man with 2 different Canadian Open trophies, as that is the brand new trophy unveiled by the Bell people for the Canadian Open champion.
And the Royal Canadian Golf Association. Now Mark for his par to finish at 9. Excuse me, for his birdie. Well done. 10 under par along with J. Don Blake. Started out the day at 10 under, had a 1-shot lead, struggled on the back 9 after a bogey at 9 and 10 and 15.
Water's broken.
to finish with a birdie.
Another tremendous victory. Doesn't matter, no matter how many times you win, when you've got a shot like that on the 18th hole, those nerves are still there.
This was really tough day for me, Andy. You know, I hit a couple of good shots, but most of the time today I was really struggling with my irons, and you know, I don't know, those two shots that I hit on 15 and 16, you know, I don't know what happened. I must have got everything just right, though.
It's amazing to me that the best players in the world always play the great shots when they have to, no matter how they're playing.
Well, the one on 15, the par 3, I'd hit every iron shot. Seemed like today I'd lost it to the right, and you know, I just got down there and I just focused on my target. I hit it just a little left of the pin, and I just nailed it. You know, it was that's the kind of shot you have to do.
What a wonderful win, and man, you've had an unbelievable 3 years, pal.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks.
Nick Price won here in '91, again in '94. He joins Greg Norman, Curtis Strange, Bruce Litsky, and Tom Weiskopf as double winners of the Bell Canadian Open. And now, Nick Price, Trevino, and Weiskopf, the only 3 players to win the British Open and the Canadian Open in the same year.
Football. Tough but fair. Judge Dowry, involved in the criminal justice system for 19 years as a prosecutor, defense attorney, and judge, believes in strong sentences in cases involving domestic violence and child abuse. Judge Dowry believes there is no place in Westchester County for drug trafficking and violent crimes, and takes a strong stand against illegal weapons. She feels every citizen has the right to feel safe in their home, on the street, or in their car. Westchester needs Judge Dowry on the county court.
For some, it's more than just another game. It's the only game. At the World of Golf, we've got everything you need to improve your game, whether you play once a day or once in a while. That's why we've been New York's favorite golf shop for more than 25 years. The World of Golf, 47th between Lex and 3rd, where golf is the only game in the world.
Back in 1991, when Nick Price came from 6 off the lead on the back 9, Gary Koch, he made 5 straight birdies to win by a single shot. He was going toe-to-toe with Mark McCumber. They kind of seesawed back and forth, but then Nick really tore it loose at 13.
Well, he did, Jim, and we've talked about it all week long, that it was the valley holes that would probably determine this golf tournament, and sure enough, Nick Price was able to make the birdie at 13, another at 15, and the big eagle at 16, and from then on, it was just a matter of cruising on into the clubhouse.
There is the brand new Bell Canadian Open trophy. He will add that, of course, to his British Open crown, the PGA Championship. Before that, victories at the Honda, the Motorola Western, the Southwestern Bell Colonial. 6 victories, #1 on the money list, and he's not done yet.
Take him down, Bill. Nice one. Thanks, Coach. Andy, no questions. No questions, Andy. I'm coming, George. I'm coming.
Nick Price, your champion. We'll come back and crown him. You come back to Oakville, just outside Toronto.
Don't forget,
today's final round live coverage of the Bell Canadian Open has been brought to you by Nitro, the fastest growing name in the business, endorsed by over 800 PGA professionals. And by Ram Forged FX Series iron. More feel, more forgiving, more fun, a better way to play. We'll come back to Glen Abbey after this.
Trout are very smart fish. They're very smart, as opposed to, you know, bass, for example. They're just not as smart. Now, what you do is you go down to the stream and you do nothing for a while except look around and see what's flying around in the air. I mean, it doesn't make sense to use a fly that's that big if what they're feeding on are flies, you know, that are that big, because it just doesn't imitate it. And then you have to be able to present it in such a way that it doesn't slap down onto the water and scare the fish.
Have I ever met a dumb trout? Yes. If they're dumb, they're on my grill.
If I ever designed my dream course, it'd be one of a kind. All the tees would have club chairs instead of benches. Perfect for the laid-back player. There'd be a snack bar in every hole. The leaderboards would show something other than the leaders. So don't forget your TV guide. And every golf cart would be a Cadillac Seville STS. It features a 295 horsepower North Star V8. But what's the rush? Besides, wait till you try the seats.
Hope springs eternal in this game. And Michelob salutes all the PGA Tour golfers who keep the faith.
Arnie Palmer won here in 55. He, of course, a people's champion, and Nick Price much in that mold, a favorite of the folks here in Canada.
Well, certainly is, Jim, and I can't help but think that they're excited because you know Nick Price is the type of guy who will be back next year as defending champion.
You bet. Here's Andy North again.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Mark, I tell you what, to have the lead, and you played pretty darn well today. You just didn't get a lot of good things to happen, but, I mean, it's like getting run over by a truck.
Well, I played solid, you know. We kind of matched things on the way out, and I three-putted the par 5 on the front nine, number 5 for par, which was kind of one wasted. Then I made a great birdie on 7. I drove it bad on 8, 9, and 10. I made 2 bogeys there, and that really cost me. But, you know, that's what you saw today. If you watch this at home, it's why Nick Price is #1 in the world. He's one ahead of about 4 of us, and he makes about a 12-footer for birdie on 13, makes an 8-footer saver for par on next hole, and you know how hard a putt that was. Makes a 6-foot downhiller on the next hole, then he hits it perfect on 16. He's in command of his emotions and his golf game.
I was so impressed with Nick that he seems to hit every iron the perfect distance every single time, like the wedge shot on the last hole. I mean, he doesn't have to hit it in there 8 feet from the hole.
I'll tell you what else is smart about him. He drove that ball in 18 pretty good, as you saw. I hit mine good. His ball hopped in the bunker. And I said, oh, I think it went in the bunkers. That's okay. I was laying up anyway. He knew exactly where he stood. He knew all he needed was par, and he's smart enough to play for that.
Well, you played awfully well. 10 under par is a great score at Glen Abbey, and I know you got to be happy.
Well, I really wanted to win, but I did what I set out to do. I had a good time. I played good. I didn't beat myself today. Best player in the world won today. So maybe next time.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Andy.
What a tournament. Just before...
So Mark McCumber finishes at 10 under par, along with J. Don Blake, Tom Lehman at -11. Calcavecchia a solo second with a final round 67. And there is your champion who said earlier the exhaustion hit him like a brick wall in the back 9 of the 3rd round of the World Series of Golf. He went home, spent some time with his wife, Sue, took his son off to SeaWorld, said, if it were any other tournament, I would have skipped it, but not the Canadian Open. I've only done it once before like this at Memphis this year, coming in on a Wednesday. The result, a win.
Well, I think that just shows you how in command he is of his game, Jim. Solid in every aspect, drives the ball well, great iron play, and said, in fact, Ben Crenshaw said he thinks that his ball striking is as good as Hogan or Nelson were when they were in their primes.
So there is the final leaderboard. Congratulations to Nick Price. How about Andre Agassi leading in the U.S. Open, unseeded, primetime, NFL style on ESPN, coming up right at the top of the hour. The President's Cup will have Friday action for you live. Andy North and I will be there. We hope you'll join us 8 o'clock in the morning this Friday coming up from the Robert Trent Jones Club in Lake Manassas, Virginia, and our preview show on Thursday night before that Duke Army game. In a matter of 5 weeks, Nick Price had collected 2 significant bits of silver that go with golf's majors, the British Open Claret Jug and the heftier Wanamaker Trophy for winning the PGA crown. Now the 1994 Bell Canadian Open silver is his too. U.S. Open champion Ernie Els says Nicky's up there somewhere and the rest of us are just down here. Maybe some of the other players don't want to admit it, but it's true. We'll see you at the President's Cup.